got a secret underneath. Yeah, she's this naughty little freak. She likes to put on a show. She likes when it takes control.
Back on three, 1, 2, 3. Bang.
Zach Tom is a very, very consistent player. He's so consistent, you almost take his fine performance week in and week out for granted. This is all-around game. It's always good. He's just a good football player.
That consistency has led to some impressive recognition for O-lineman Zach Tom. Last season, Pro Football Focus ranked him 6th among all offensive tackles in the league. His versatility is one unique skill that gives him an edge over the rest of the field.
He's played pretty consistent over the course of the last few years. I think his versatility is one of the things that makes him special. I think he can play all 5, and there's not a lot of guys that can do that, but I think he can play any position. It just happened to be that he kind of found his home at right tackle.
Going into the 2025 season, expectations are very high for the 4th-year vet. Tom is set on meeting those expectations and more.
I think when I'm at my best, I'm best in the league, but I just got to be able to, do that more consistently than I think I have. Consistency, being a guy that can set the tone during games, just being a guy that you can really rely on to like block those edge rushers, those elite edge rushers one-on-one, take them out of the game. That's the next step for me, for sure. Just being a guy that is gonna get it done out there. It's not like I set a goal to be the 10th best tackle in the league. I mean, obviously I want to be the best. It's the NFL, so you're always competing. In my career, I've never had anything handed to me, so I've had to work for everything I got. So I'm ready to get back out there, ready to get back out there for camp, ready to get to the season, ready for the Lions week 1.
Action. Hi, I'm Sawyer. I'm 6 years old. I'm from New Berlin, Wisconsin. I'm this year's Junior Power Pack Junior Reporter.
Are you better at kicking or throwing?
I'm throwing.
Do you throw like Jordan Love?
Not really.
What's her name, man?
Sawyer.
Sawyer? So you the big dog, you the Junior Reporter. You got the swag on.
What is your favorite part about playing for the Packers?
1, it's some real good cheese down here. And then 2, Lambeau Field is the best stadium I've ever seen.
Yeah, good catch, man. Can I get a touchdown big? Touchdown big. Hey.
You want to tell them your name?
Sawyer.
You want to tell them what you are?
A Junior Reporter. What do you listen to when you're driving up to Lambeau Field?
I like NBA Youngboy. What you like to listen to on your way to Lambeau?
Not like us.
Not like us? Okay, that's a good song. I like that.
Junior Reporter.
We're
not gonna call you by your first name because you big dog. You Junior Reporter. You feel me? You got different titles.
I tackled, punted, throwed. I'm ready to tag, dude. I'm ready. I just got tagged, dude. I'm ready to tag. I told him like 4 people already. What is your favorite thing to eat?
Like some pasta and meatballs. I feel like you can never go wrong with that.
Isaiah.
Thank you. You did a great job.
Are you guys going to yell Go Pack Go really loud?
Go Pack Go! I'm Sawyer and that's a wrap.
He
CEO and president of the Packers. Under the bylaws of the Packers, you have to cycle out before you hit age 70. Ed Policy will take over, but they gave Mark Murphy one last chance to deliver a message. That is Super Bowl expectations right there from the Green Bay Packers as we welcome in our Stacey Dales to the conversation. You know, Stacey, that's always the standard in Green Bay. They've got more NFL championships plus Lombardi trophies than anybody here. It's the last hurdle that we've not seen a highly successful coach in Matt LaFleur be able to get to here, but they got their work cut out just in their own division.
They do. Hello, Ian. Hello, Tom. Happy Friday to you guys. They do have their work cut out. And congratulations to Mark Murphy. He's one of my favorites guys to deal with and has been over the course of many years in the NFL. Listen, within this division, it's a race. I think we saw that last season, right? Detroit, back-to-back years, they claimed the title. Minnesota's knocking on the door, but guess what? The Packers were knocking on the door too. And so until anybody proves us otherwise, this is Detroit's division. And that means everybody else in this division is hunting the Detroit Lions, but it is extremely competitive, as you fellows know. And I think Matt LaFleur offensively went back and said, what happened to us the last 3 games of the year, right? They lost their final 2 regular season games and their playoff loss against the Philadelphia Eagles, and it didn't look good. The offense took a decline. And so I think he's been outspoken about it. They need more explosive plays more consistently, and that's over the course of 18 weeks in the regular season in order to claim this division. And those 3 losses to close out their season, fellas, they went down in all the important numbers, right? Total yards down 65 per game from the previous games that they played throughout the course of the year. Their big plays, their explosive plays were down, and the points were down roughly 9 points a game in those 3 losses. That's why you bring in Matthew Golden. That's why you bring in Mecole Hardman. This is a really talented roster. He needs more explosives to overcome this division offensively from his group.
Yeah, that's fascinating stuff, Stacey. I don't disagree with you, by the way, that the Packers should be the hunter, not the hunted. The one thing I would say is there's still plenty of questions in this division. Lions are great. They got a really, really, really talented roster, but did have almost unprecedented staff turnover with both their coordinators rated and so many of their position coaches and pass game coordinator. I mean, all of the things that seems everyone took from Detroit, so certainly some questions there. Vikings have a new quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, again, who I think is going to be really good, but has not really done it. Chicago Bears also with a new coaching staff, although it's fair to say that hopes are very high there in Chicago. I would just say this is one that's probably a little more up for grabs than maybe it was last year, which should be very fun because it is a very, very high level.
Ed, the job you're taking over, you called it the absolute best job in sports. Now that you're starting it, how do you feel?
I feel like I'm about to start the absolute best job in all of sports. It really is. I've been working in sports now for over 25 years. And I can remember when I first got into the industry just having a career conversation with my father. And at the time he said, well, where do you want this to end, you know? And frankly, there were 2 positions that I really had in mind. One was this one, and the other one was the commissioner of the National Football League. So, and I'm happy I got this one.
So are we. Been with the Packers since 2012. How valuable has all that time been and all the institutional knowledge that comes with it?
It's been invaluable. I think when you look at, it's not only being with the Packers, but being in the community of Green Bay. This is a special place. This is a unique place. And the Packers are a very special, unique part of this special, unique place. So I think getting to know all the people within the Packers over the past nearly 13 years now, just being immersed in the Green Bay community and having this be the place where my children have gone to school for their entire school-age lives has been pretty special. And I think it's really prepared me well for the role.
Ed, when it comes to leadership, do you have a philosophy, some rules of the road that guide you?
Yeah, I do, and I've learned a lot of it by watching Mark Murphy, and it's essentially just really hire slow, bring in the right people, and a lot of this sounds cliche now, but it's cliche because it's true, but hire the right people, give them all the tools and support they need to do their job, and then really get out of their way and let them do it, but support them at every step.
Growing up in Youngstown, Ohio, like you did, What kind of impact did that have on you, and are there any similarities to Green Bay?
When I moved to Green Bay, it was like coming home. If Youngstown, Ohio had a National Football League team, it would be Green Bay. So Youngstown, for anyone who wouldn't know, is in northeast Ohio. It's an old steel town. Had fallen on some hard economic times in recent years, but when I grew up, I'll tell you, we had just beautiful summers, cold winters, an absolute love affair with the game of football, blue-collar values, really a great place to raise a family. So it reminds me a lot of Green Bay.
Of course, your father is Carmen Policy, legendary executive in the NFL. 49ers, the Browns, 5 Super Bowl titles. How did he react when he found out you were taking over in Green Bay?
So it was funny. He was the first person I called, actually, the first person I talked to. He was traveling in Italy when I got the call that I'd gotten the job. And I just finished the interview. He knew I was interviewing that day. I knew he wouldn't sleep given the time difference in Italy until I talked to him. So he was, I couldn't see him because it was on the phone, but I think there was a tear in his eye.
Did he offer any advice? Have you had that chat?
He's offered a lot of advice really since then. So I talk to my dad probably 2 or 3 nights a week when I'm driving home from the office, and we have some tremendous conversations about whatever's going on in the NFL, and he offers me a lot of advice. Most of it I like to keep between the two of us, but I get no shortage of excellent advice from him.
Well, speaking of mentors, what have you learned? What's the biggest thing would you say you learned from Mark Murphy?
From Mark Murphy, I learned the most important thing I would say, and I'm very grateful for this, is the importance of collaboration in decision making. Mark has really taught me that it's critical that you reach out to all the extraordinary people around you as you're going through a decision-making process. And he's probably better at it than any leader I've worked with before, and I've had an opportunity to work with some outstanding leaders.
Ed, when you look at your family, it's nothing but achievers, and that even carries over to your in-laws. Tell us about your father-in-law.
So while my father-in-law is Admiral Tony Less, and that's my wife Christy's father, and a very impressive man. First and foremost, I'm grateful for him because he's an amazing grandfather, and I really appreciate the values he imparts on my children and the lessons that he teaches them. But Admiral Less was, and I still call him Admiral, by the way. Admiral Less was the first squadron leader of the Blue Angels back in the early 1970s, an incredibly impressive human being. One of the more ironic things is he was born and raised right outside of Youngstown, Ohio, and I learned that during my first dinner at their house. He was born on a farm just probably about 25 minutes from where I was raised.
Ed, you have, you look at your resume, a career built around taking on more and more. At one time, you eventually became commissioner, president, and CEO of the Arena League all at once. In Green Bay, you went from vice president and general counsel to chief operating officer and general counsel. And in that role, you assumed control of like a half dozen at least different departments and functions. Having a job grow, taking on more responsibility is nothing new for Ed Policy.
This goes back to advice I got from my father when I was young. It's good to take on more things, but you have to be ready for it. And you have to make sure that you don't skip any steps or take any shortcuts along the way. And if you do that, you've prepared yourself to take on that additional responsibility. So I think showing up every day and kind of just making sure that you check all the boxes, you don't take any shortcuts, and being sure that it's not just about taking on the responsibility, but it's about being prepared to do that and succeeding with it. And if you've done that, then taking on the responsibility is the easy part.
Ed, are you proud of Titletown because that was your baby?
Well, Titletown was all of our baby in the Green Bay Packers organization, I think, and we're all extremely proud of it. It is really gratifying now for any of us to be able to walk across the street over there and see the businesses thriving and to see that park and all the amenities around it being used by the community in the way that we really hoped and intended it to be used. So yeah, it's very gratifying.
Ed, I got to tell you, I was walking on the 4th floor to the radio booth prior to a game. I can't remember which one. And this was just as Titletown was starting to take hold. And I saw you at a window, and you are looking intently at the whole project. And I said to myself at the time, I said, there is a man with a vision. I mean, you were totally engaged in that, were you not?
It's funny, I didn't see, I was focused, but I
wasn't going to interrupt. You were clearly thinking bigger thoughts than what I had.
I still stop at that window probably on a weekly basis and look out because we're not done yet. And you know, now I might allow myself for 10 seconds to have just a little bit of gratitude and gratification for what is there, but we still have a lot of work to do over there. So we still stand out that window and look at it and imagine what it could be and you know what might really help the community along the way.
How did Aaron's Hill come about?
Aaron's
What's the
Hill.
backstory there?
Aaron's Hill actually, well, conceptually it came about when we were looking at the park in Titletown. A lot of it was, I had just moved here from New York. I had 2 young kids in New York, and I was just thinking back at some of my greatest memories, and I lived right by Central Park. Some of my greatest memories of spending time with my kids in Central Park. And there was a little hill by my apartment in Central Park, very small, but I used to love bringing my son there to sled ride. So sled riding, we were moving to a place that gets plenty of snow. Sled riding is something that people should really be able to enjoy. But part of Titletown was we wanted to embrace the winter. It was meant to be not just a game day party spot, but a spot where people could come, be together, be outside, and really embrace and celebrate our winters instead of apologizing for them all the time. So it started as a small sled riding hill. And then we decided it was based on a building that was down the street from my apartment in New York City in Lincoln Center, where there's a beautiful hill that has a building underneath it, much smaller than what we built over here though. But we asked the architects to go take a look at it. They came back and drew some pictures of a much smaller version of Aaron's Hill. And we just kind of kept asking them, keep making it bigger, bigger, bigger. And before you know it, there was a second story that is now Rockwood Terrace, which is an event space over there. But that was definitely the most fun element of Titletown to design.
Ed, are you ready for the increased visibility, shall we say, that goes with the job? Anything happens with the Green Bay Packers, people are going to want to know what you think. All the media demands, that kind of thing. Not to mention, this is an organization with well over 500,000 shareholders who all think they could offer you some advice. Are you ready for that end of the thing?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited about it. I had an opportunity to walk back and forth to minicamp and just to get to meet our fans. It's just a chance to get to know our fans, get to know our community even better.
Ed, during the mandatory minicamp, I saw you at a couple practices. Do you feel that's important to keep your finger, shall we say, on the pulse of the football end of things?
I do. I intend to get out to practice a lot more free. In my past role, current and past role, I guess, I would get out to practice from time to time. I certainly intend to be out there on maybe not a daily, but certainly a weekly basis.
I'd ask you about the community involvement part of the job, and it's certainly tangible, but you're already heavily involved in the community. I mean, at least a half a dozen different boards of directors, United Way, Greater Green Bay Community Foundation. You're already involved and immersed in the community.
Yeah, I'd say community involvement for me, it's not part of the job, it's just part of life living in Green Bay. And you know, when Christy and I moved here almost 13 years ago, we made it a point to really try to embrace this community. And I have to say the community really embraced us back even harder, not just me and Christy, but our entire family.
Ed, is there a next big thing for the Green Bay Packers?
There always will be. So, you know, I think Titletown is going to continue to develop. I think it's important that we continue to, you know, Lambeau Field is a very special place. I mean, I don't know if you could name for me one other stadium in the NFL or in any sport in this country really that is both iconic and state-of-the-art, and maintaining it in that way is critical. So that's always going to be a big thing. And then, of course, the most important thing will be winning on the field.
Is there a next big thing for the National Football League?
There are a few next big things for the National Football. Some of their top initiatives, which we are fully embracing, would be international. I think international development for the National Football League is going to be really important, and I'm excited about the Packers being a big part of that. And I think really following consumers as they shift from broadcasting cable TV to streaming is going to be probably is the current and next big thing.
Packer fans and their passion for the football team. It's kind of a unique combination. How do you look at that as you take this job?
There's nothing like it. You know, I grew up a football fan. I grew up around football fans, but Packer fans aren't just football fans. There's something special about it. I was talking earlier today about about my first shareholder meeting, and I remember pulling into the Lambeau Field parking lot at about 7:30 a.m. for the meeting, which wasn't going to be in for several hours. And it was full of people out there tailgating, drinking beer, playing cornhole, and this is for a business meeting. This is not a football game. This is the business meeting months before the football games even begin. And right then I knew this was a special place, and I thought I was going to fit in pretty well here.
Ed, at one time recently, you said the Lombardi Trophy will always be our North Star. Could you elaborate, please?
That's what we strive for every day. That's what we show up for every day. That's what guides us. You know, only one team gets to win it every year, and our goal is going to be to put ourselves in position to be that team every year.
Ed, I've been around for 50 years. The Green Bay Packers are in great hands. Go get them.
Hey, thank you.
My confidence level is always pretty high, but I do feel, you know, each year you come into it, you do gain more confidence. Every rep you take, you gain confidence. Obviously, going on year 6, you know, I've got confidence every year going through OTAs and understanding the process that we got to go through. And now going on my 3rd year starting, you know, I kind of know what we're expecting and what we keep working on the build to get ready for training camp, get ready for the season. So I'm confident and just kind of keep pushing the envelope with everything we do, keep pushing myself, pushing the guys, and just try to be as consistent as possible, like I said, every day. But we're ready to go, ready for the season.
Jordan Love has impressed over his first 2 years as Green Bay's starter, becoming one of just 2 NFL players to throw at least 25 touchdowns and record a 95-plus passer rating in each of the past 2 seasons. On top of those numbers, Love's consistency on and off the field is catching on with teammates and coaches.
Tag on 3, 1, 2, 3. Hey.
He's a great talent. He's a great person. He's a great person to work with every day, and he has great habits. So I think when you combine those 3 things, really the sky's the limit.
A tracer from Jordan Love.
I think he's comfortable. You know, like, and what I mean by that is, like, he understands this offense in and out. He understands defenses. So now he's at the point where he can just play and really be who he is.
Here's Love to the end zone. Touchdown. What a throw, Jim.
He's probably one of the most calm quarterbacks I've ever been around. He's so poised, you know, in the huddle, you know, whether we're going through adversity or anything, you know, he's the same person.
I've been here going on year 6, going on my 3rd year playing, so, you know, everything's right there in front of us, and it's just about going out there executing. But the goal is definitely a Super Bowl. That's the mindset we have, and we're going to put in the work to be able to hopefully get there.
Drop a little danger, they both crave when they